So President Ramaphosa has succeeded to delay the Phala Phala scandal a little bit, while he has failed dismally to create jobs for South Africans. In this video, I'm going to show you how these two things have happened, and if you stay with me all the way till my biblical reaction, we'll end up with a solution, because you know South Africa will prosper. You ready? All right, press like and let's go. Constitutional Court declines to hear appeal on the Ramaphosa interdict ruling. You remember that recently the Western Cape High Court granted an interdict to Ramaphosa to say until the Phala Phala panel report is reviewed, the impeachment committee is not starting public hearings. So the ATM and the EFF went up to Constitutional Court to say, no, this is wrong. We want to appeal the interdict. And so the Constitutional Court has said, no, thank you. It has concluded that no case has been made out for leave to file a replying affidavit. The court has also concluded that it is not in the interests of justice to hear the matter at this stage, given the imminent determination of the review in the Western Cape Division of the High Court, the outcome of which will render the interim interdict moot, the Concord's order reads. So it kind of makes sense. They're saying, listen, the review will be heard on the 2nd to the 4th of September. So what's the point us playing all these games between now and then? So, of course, then Ramaphosa will be happy that at least he has 2 weeks before his review case is heard. And so Parliament has released a statement. Impeachment committee notes Constitutional Court order. So they have noted it. But does it mean everything stops? No, only the public hearings stop. And here's the thing. I don't think the public hearings would have started anyway. Hear it from Magashule Ghana.
As the chairperson of the impeachment committee, we note the decision of the Constitutional Court to deny the direct application for appeal, the judgment of the Western Cape, ruling that interdicted the public hearings of the impeachment committee. So we are going to move forward in line with the decision of the Western Cape High Court, and we're going to finalize the terms of reference, but also get an update in terms of the appointment of the evidence leaders. So from our side, we have done a recommendation of the evidence leader, and we're moving closer to finalizing our terms of reference. Once the evidence leader is appointed, we are going to move to the next stage of also considering the list of witnesses.
So they're now concluding finding an evidence leader, and then they conclude the list of witnesses. And I don't think they would have finished anyway before the review is heard on the 2nd to the 4th. If Ramaphosa wins, I guess the justice system would take a blow, because most South Africans will not be happy with not getting an answer, like in this video, to why this man had this much money in that currency, in that place, a couch, and why this man has made sure that we don't find out. But if he loses, then it's even worse, because South Africans now want to know what exactly was he blocking. But the latest polls show that the greatest number of South Africans believe either that Ramaphosa is a criminal or he has a case to answer, and a minority think, no, he's innocent, he's done nothing wrong. Let me tell you something wrong that he's done, very wrong.
South Africa's official unemployment rate has increased by 0.9% from 32.7 in the first quarter of 2026 to 33.6% in the second quarter of 2026. This is according to the quarterly labour force survey released by Statistics South Africa yesterday. The number of unemployed people has risen by 345,000 to 8.5 million. Young people are bearing the brunt of this crisis, with over 5 million young people out of work. But the number of unemployed youth continuing to rise. What is the missing link to solve South Africa's youth unemployment crisis?
What is the missing link? Before I answer that, I just want to show you what the stats look like, and something interesting that shows up that may answer this question. So national unemployment, which means the average between all 9 provinces, is sitting at 33.6%. Youth unemployment is much, much worse. I want to show you something with our provinces in South Africa. This is not a DA advert. It's much deeper than that. So follow me. The Western Cape, unemployment is at 19.5%. It's the lowest in South Africa. So if you see 5 people in the Western Cape, 1 of them is unemployed. The 4 have a job. Now, Western Cape, if you look at 2024, they got 55% of the vote. It is a DA stronghold. And you realize what immediately happens. We go to the Northern Cape. It's a big jump to 28.7%. A competitive ANC territory, but they literally got 49% of the vote. Then it gets worse. You go to Limpopo. It's an ANC stronghold. Limpopo still gives the ANC 73.3% of the vote. I can't relate. KZN has now become an MK heartland because MK got 45% of the vote. However, the other parties put together a government of provincial unity. So you have an IFP mayor, DA, ANC, NFP, and they are the government in KZN. Their unemployment is at 32.5%. Then you have Gauteng. Gauteng is at 34.6%, and it's now highly competitive. ANC got 34.76%. Mpumalanga, ANC holds it at 51. Free State, ANC holds it at 51. Both of them are close to 37%. Northwest was an ANC stronghold in 2024. They are kind of losing grip there, just like they're losing grip in Gauteng, but it's an ANC stronghold. 38%, literally double the amount of people that are unemployed in the Western Cape are unemployed in the Northwest ANC stronghold in 2024. You go to the Eastern Cape. If you see 2 people in the Eastern Cape, 1 of them is unemployed. It's an ANC stronghold that gives the ANC 62% of the vote. Of course, this will show up through ANC and DA. That's not what I'm talking about right now. But here's what you see. When it's a DA stronghold, unemployment is almost half of national average. Where it's ANC stronghold, unemployment is much higher than the national average. Why? Jobs don't come from political parties. Jobs come from policy. So, of course, whatever policy the DA is applying in the Western Cape is producing less unemployment. But here's something that's important to realize. Let me explain it in my biblical reaction. See, then all the elders of Israel gathered together and came to Samuel at Ramah and said to him, "Look, you are old and your sons don't walk in your ways. Now make us a king to judge us like all the other nations." But the thing displeased Samuel when they said, "Give us a king to judge us." So Samuel prayed to the Lord, and the Lord said, "Listen to their voice, for they have not rejected you, but they have rejected me, that I should not reign over them." And then he goes on to tell them how the king will act like the ANC to try and discourage them. Nevertheless, the people refused to obey the voice of Samuel, and they said, "No, but we want a king, that we can be like others, and that our king may judge us and go out before us and fight our battles." And Samuel heard all the words of the people, and he repeated them in the hearing of the Lord. So the Lord said, "Listen to them, make them a king, give them what they want." What you've got to realize about political parties, I know on social media, we all come on and most people want to push their party. I'm not interested in any party politics right now. I'm interested in the prosperity of South Africa. And here's the thing. It is not only the party that acts on the people, but it's also the people that put the party in power. So the people are also acting on the party, just like we saw here that when the people wanted a king they got. Even if the warning was, but this is what's going to happen with a king. You're going to end up unemployed, having no dignity, feeling no sense of pride, no sense of purpose, living a hopeless life. But they said, no, we want our ANC. And so what happens, it's not just the party that act on the people, but the people act on the party. Show you a simple example. Not many years ago, Mr. Jacob Zuma was in the ANC and people started saying we are tired of illegal immigration. And he stood up on stages and he said, don't be xenophobic. These people fought with us in the struggle. Fast forward a few years later, people in KZN are marching through the streets and they're saying, Abahambe, we are sick and tired of being sick and tired of this illegal immigration thing being out of control. Guess what? Jacob Zuma, who's now in the MK, has his party say, yeah, I agree. I also stand with March and March. We need to solve this border. He threw out everything that he said while he was under the ANC. Now, this is not a surprising or an unusual thing. Political parties also respond to the people when there's too much pressure. Now, his successor, Ramaphosa, who stood up all the time for years, helping the message, South Africans are xenophobic, just shut up. South Africans are xenophobic, just shut up. Well, as soon as the groundswell was enough, guess what's Ramaphosa's tune now? We are not a xenophobic nation. We just need to fix this. People act on the politicians just as much as the politicians act on the people. So when you look at these numbers, if it's a DA stronghold, unemployment very low. If it's an ANC stronghold, unemployment very high. Don't just assign it to the DA and the ANC. Also assign it to the people in the region. In other words, this is what happens. It means that people in the Western Cape, when they hear something that will lead to jobs, they respond to it. If you go to the Eastern Cape, when they hear something that will lead to jobs, they reject it. And that's why you'll find in any ANC stronghold, unemployment is horrible and increasing. Now, how do you change this? Two ways that you change this. Number one, you change the parties, of course. But number two, in the same way that Jacob Zuma went from you are xenophobic, these people looked after us when we were in exile, to we support March and March because rule of law is important. The second way is you've got to change not what people think, because what people think determines what party they vote for, but how people think determines what messaging they respond to. And here's the truth of the matter. If you change how South Africans think and have more South Africans responding to messaging that will tend to create jobs, what will even happen is, even if the ANC had to stay in power, which they won't, but they would also shift to align with the people, or they'll lose all the votes. But either way, one of the ways that you fix the employment problem in South Africa is not just by changing the parties, although that's very important, but it is also by changing how the people think. And that's why I'm so excited that many of you have already come on to join our online event where you really get how you can put South Africa on the path to prosperity. And you won't have to change your daily routine. You won't have to argue with anyone, debating on social media. You won't be helping to organize a rally, but you get to be one of the first 1,000 South Africans to discover this mechanism that we want to make available to you on that day. It's a powerful way to really start a political tsunami as we look towards 2029. And no, we're not forming a political party. So if you go up here now, you can go and click to join to be one of the first 1,000. Put your email in there and we'll see you on the 1st of September at 6:30 to 8, because we're going to show you how do you actually get to move the people so that whatever party doesn't want to align with creating jobs, well, they'll just lose votes forever. But whatever party is willing to be responsive, because many parties are, they will just pretend they never said what they said in the past, and they'll start lining up with things that create jobs. And the key to that is what we'll be showing you on the 1st of September. So looking forward to see you there. If you up to making history, if you up to just sitting around and complaining continuously, insulting, crying, well, go ahead, that's fine. But if you the type that says, oh no, I want to be part of creating this tsunami towards 2029, then I'll see you on the other side. So no man can serve two masters, for either he'll love the one or hate the other, or he'll despise the one and honor the other. You can't serve God and Karl Marx. You'll either love God, respect God, or you'll hate God and despise God. But you can't do both. Or you're going to have to love Marx or hate Marx, or despise Marx or honor Karl Marx. It's up to you. I'm just saying it's a fact that you can't do both. All right, let's make history together. See you up there. Cheers.